live streamed.
There you are.
Okay, so you
So
feel
that's
good?
gonna work.
But you know what? I should have tried. Let me exit out. From my Welcome to Back to School Night 2021. We are so happy to have you here with us. We're saddened that we can't be together in person, but fortunately we can do it through this Zoom call. If you need Spanish, Vietnamese, or Somali interpretation, please see the numbers on the screen and dial into those, and you'll have an interpreter to help you. So one of the things that we like to start events with is a land acknowledgement. Within Portland Public Schools today, we serve students and families representing more than 150 different tribal nations within our education system. It is our obligation to teach accurate information, past and present, about the impact of colonization on our students, all students today, and make visible the multitude of Native families and many diverse ways Native communities and families are living in the present. In addition to acknowledging the land and those that have been here since time began, we must also remember our stolen siblings from Africa whose labor built the vast wealth of this country. These two communities and the atrocities committed against them are intrinsically intertwined due to our existence within a white supremacist world. Everything we have is due to stolen land and stolen labor, and every system and institution that impacts our lives is built upon this legacy. It is our job to speak the truth into spaces so that we can begin to heal. I'd like to share with you the PPS graduate profile. A graduate of Portland Public Schools will be a compassionate, critical thinker, able to collaborate and solve problems, and be prepared to lead a more socially just world. And that's a goal of ours at Roseway Heights, that we as a middle school are helping our students become PPS graduates and take on the world and lead a socially just world in their future. So I'd like you to give you the names and introduce our leadership team. I'm Brenda Fox. I'm the lucky woman that gets to be the principal of this phenomenal middle school. Melinda Gale is our assistant principal. Tracy Vandenberg is our student management specialist, and Brenda Carpenter is our instructional specialist. We're fortunate here to have a robust counseling team. We have two full-time counselors. Ms. Brandy Starton is supporting students with last names from A through K, and Katie McLaughlin is supporting students' last names L through Z. New to our school is a full-time social worker, Kate Sherwood. Our agenda for this evening is to welcome you, talk about counseling and social worker supports, and share with you goals and data. Enrollment by year and ethnicity at Roseway Heights. You can see that we've stayed fairly stable in our enrollment from 2019-20 school year to this school year. We hover at right at 600 students. So special populations would be special ed, tag, ESL, which here says LAP, which means limited English proficiency, free and reduced meals, academic priority, and immersion. So we have 99 students who are identified as special ed, 65 identified as tag, 83 identified as emergent bilinguals or English learners, 237 students who qualify for free and reduced meals, and 108 students enrolled in our 2 robust dual language immersion programs. A little bit about our school community. We have school-wide AVID, as well as an AVID elective, MTSS, which is multiple tiered systems of support, and in that we'll talk a little bit later. We have two dual language immersion programs, Vietnamese that is serving, it says 7th and 8th, but it should say 6th and 7th. It will grow to grade 8 next year. Spanish DLI, which is in all grades 6 through 8. We have a service and leadership class that takes on social justice issues in the community and works in the community. We have a social emotional skills class for students whose IEP designates that as an appropriate placement for them. We're proud to be partners with SUN, Schools Uniting Neighborhoods, YEP, ERCO Latino Network, Hoi Fu Huyen, Conexiones, PTA, and McDaniel High School. A little bit about our staff. We have 35 classroom teachers, 4 special educators, 1.5 English to speakers of other language or ESL teachers or ELD teachers. All of those are acronyms that you'll hear for that title, that role. 1 principal, 1 assistant principal, 1 SMS. Our SMS handles school climate issues and discipline. 1 instructional specialist / coach who helps us with our curriculum materials and supports teachers in the classroom. As we said before, we have 2 counselors, 1 social worker. We have a 0.5 climate specialist from the district's MTSS department who works with us. We have a media specialist, also known as the librarian. We have 1.5 bilingual education assistants, a 1.0 wellness center education assistant, and 2 special education paraprofessionals. Roseway is one of the Title I schools in PPS. Title I is designated by the United States government. It's the largest education assistance program for schools. Funds are used to provide programs to help children struggling in reading and math, extra help in addition to what they learn during math and reading in the classroom, and funding provided under the ESEA, the Elementary Secondary Education Act. So at our school, we've used our funds to reduce class size and core electives, and also to expand our elective offerings. It's supporting our service and leadership class. It's helping us maintain a full-time media specialist. And then, as I said before, helping us reduce the number of students in our core classes. And it's also helping us fund our educational assistance, 0.5 bilingual, and our wellness center educational assistant. So there's several components to a Title I program. One is the design of the program. And when we talk about program design, That goes into what electives we're offering, what are our core requirements, how are we providing support, and our robust elective offering. All of those are part of our design of program and also our intervention classes, which we'll talk about more in a moment. It's also about parent involvement. Our first parent involvement activity of this school year was our back to school dinner, which was such a fun and fabulous event. We're hoping to be able to do more of those as we move through COVID. And then assessment and monitoring. And when we talk about assessment and monitoring, we're looking at, are we able to assess students at their current rate and levels of learning so that we can provide detailed and specific programming for them, and are we monitoring their growth? This requires an annual review, which will happen in the spring. Some of our program, we have robust student-informed electives. We get student input every spring on electives, and that really does inform how we staff for the following year. We have our service learning class, our tool do ELI classes, we have a leadership class, and this year we're instituting houses, which look very similar to advisory. In those, we do school-wide AVID lessons and social emotional learning. Our first assessment of the year is our MAPS assessment. It's assessing students in both math and literacy. We're finishing that up this week, and you should have scores at conferences to see how your student performed on this nationally normed test. We have additional support classes in math, language, and literacy. One of the things that we do at Roseway as part of our MTSS, it's a positive school climate, is we've got Roseway Bucks. So it'd be great for you to ask your student about Roseway Bucks. They can earn them by just being a good citizen in the school, making positive contributions, following school policies, and then they can use those to buy items at the store, at our student store. We have a lot of social emotional supports. We know after living through a pandemic, coming back to school has been really difficult for many. And so we have a wellness center that is open most of school hours. It's staffed by our educational assistant, our social worker, our counselors. We're also providing social emotional lessons that will be delivered in houses, and we have a social emotional support class for students whose IEPs suggest that. Here's our core offerings. You can see that they're very robust. All students take language, arts, social studies as a block class. So that's one teacher for both classes. Math, science, health, physical education. We have visual and performing arts, music, band, mariachi, choir, and art. Our language classes are English language development, dual language immersion, Spanish as a world language. And then we have technology electives, computer science, technology, STEAM, engineering, robotics, leadership, medical detectives, AVID, mindfulness, service learning and leadership, and science exploration. So we've got a lot of great things happening there. House has just kicked off. We've talked about a little bit in our newsletters, 12 to 15 students. House are in one grade level with one teacher or other staff member. I have a house as well. Each house is named after a peak in the Cascade Mountain Range, and we use the Indigenous people's names for our houses. So my house, which is blue, we have a color as well. My house is a blue color. My mountain is Siksika, and it is otherwise known as Mount Jefferson. Houses are also part of a mixed grade level family, and in that our curriculum is focusing on community, racial equity, and school climate. Part of this evening, we need to notify you of your rights under the Elementary and Secondary Educational Act. You have the right to request that the teachers that are teaching your children have proper qualification. You can request opportunities to meet regularly with staff for parent involvement, participate in decisions affecting your own child, review our Title 1A plan and make suggestions, and participate in school activities. right here, we have this linked document. You can use these links. And they will take you to your child's class. Today, you'll be following your child's schedule and popping into classes. Would like to also notify you, the slides are down, but we have some upcoming events that I want to make sure that you know about. On October 25th, we will have a tag parent meeting night. November 4th is the last day of Q1, and parent family teacher conferences are on November 22nd and 23rd. So thank you for being here with us tonight. I look forward to chatting with you. Please feel free to reach out via phone or email if you have any questions or concerns. It really is an honor to have your children in our school, and we are excited to see where this year takes us, because we have a lot of great things in place. So thank you again for being here. You can now go and join your teachers.